to this reading. This is a tarot reading. Alright, I heard a message about somebody being happy to be out of the house. So, take that as it resonates. Okay. Ace of Pentacles, abundance energy. Alright. And we have the Eight of Wands. Okay. Remember, words do have power, so if you are communicating something, you know, no takebacks, right? Okay, thinking about that. 10 of Wands, yeah, you may have had enough of a certain interaction or a certain communication, okay, that came at you quickly. Maybe somebody thought they were going to be bossing you around, and then now they realize that they are not the boss of you. Yeah, King of King of Pentacles, but it wanted to come out in reverse. So this person really thought they could kind of tell you what to do and where to go, you know, because the King of Pentacles is very authoritarian. But remember, you also had the overall energy was the Ace of Pentacles. So this could be somebody who fakes abundance in order to try and monopolize yours, like some kind of shady manager or something. Like, yeah, I'll be taking 15%. And you're like, for what exactly? Like, what did you do? Three of Cups. This came out in the reading, one of the last readings. The Three of Cups. Okay. So this person wants to celebrate with you, wants to have a give and take, but you're not so sure because, again, it wanted to come out in reverse. So unfortunately this deck is a little mixed up, but it's I'll say accurately portraying the energy. How about that? Okay. And then we have Ace of Wands. Okay, so this could be some kind of romantic interaction you've had in the past. You may be looking very attractive right now and somebody wants to come at you quickly type thing, where you might be saying like, you know, that's cute and all, but I had enough of, you know, looking good just so you can act cute, you know what I mean, type thing. Like, okay, show me the money, you know what I mean. And it's like, are you a real King of Pentacles or are you fake? So because otherwise, you know, it's like, what does that have to do with you know, the collective here and their fieriness? Like, that abundance will always be there, just like your Ace of Pentacles, because you know how to handle it, whereas these folks here do not. All right, it's like they wouldn't know it if it hit them in, you know what I mean, type thing. Anyway, yeah, Leo, strength. So again, that fire energy. I had Aries come out in the last one. All right. And I got fire as well. So really strong fire energy, fortune fire, giving you strength, portraying strength as well. Yeah, you may have been through a lot, but you're still standing. Elton John, I'm still standing. Da, 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 da. Okay. Which he sings it up a little bit higher, but I was trying to sing it like a little bit down lower. So he's like, I'm still standing, right? Let's keep going here. What else does the collective need to know? The Six of Cups, yeah. This person might want to reunite with you, but again, wanted to come out in reverse, where you might be like, you know, I'm not interested in reuniting with whatever it is that you think you got going on. You know what I mean? Like, Okay, so the movie The Blues Brothers, remember they have to go around and try and convince everybody, right, to play with them again, and it's like, and then they kind of end up showing why they were a bad investment to begin with, but this time when we're watching it's because they have, you know anyway. um so it's kind of like that, but it's like they don't have the grace behind them because their intentions are not pure. Okay, it's more about what they can get out of the deal. Okay, because they want you to carry it. It's like, have you seen those those videos? They'll be like stopping some young family in the park, and then they'll be like taking the backpack off the mom and putting it on the dad. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but some people is like they expect you to do all the work. Like, and she's pushing the stroller, or like, and she's holding it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, if you share the load a little bit, yeah. So again, Five of Cups, but want to come out in reverse. This person just thinks they have just, oh, like, woe is me, because what, you asked them to make the bed? Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on now. um, you don't have to grow up all at once, but maybe you don't have to do it while, you're staying at my house rent free. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things, right? Where you're like, I'm good, I'm good on that. Ace of Pentacles again. Yeah, because you have your abundance to focus on. You're not worried about this person sitting here crying over when Four Swords, they could have been resting this whole time. You know what I mean? You ever come back home and be like, oh wow, it's like literally nothing has been done around here. But yeah, you're, going around chatting saying how positive your impact is. Well, let's see it. You know what I mean? Like, whereas you have the Ace of Pentacles here, you're like, yeah, I know what I'm working with. Yeah, Seven of Wands. That's because, yeah, exactly. The Empress. The Empress. Yep. Yep. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. Yeah, somebody who was slick. It's the Magician reverse. Yeah, Eight of Swords. They really thought they had you in a pickle, and you kind of did a reverse on them, right? They thought you were gonna be running crying to them. Oh. And you just be like, oh, here, I'm so lonely without you. Oh, and they just can't figure out where it went wrong. Right? And now they're just stuck in between a rock and a hard place, just wistfully thinking of you. Oh my gosh. And they could even be out around town being like, oh, how they wronged me, but I still care, right? Because they think they're going to slip on in there. Mm-hmm. Emperor in reverse. I'm sorry. Yeah, they blew this whole thing, right? It's yeah, you got somebody else, this King of Wands here in the upright, that is like, yeah, sorry I didn't work with them, but anyway, I hear there's an Empress around here that you know, likes to drink wine occasionally. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hear there's an Empress around here that wants to go to a movie. I hear there's an Empress around here that likes to go out to dinner. Right? Like, what did these other people expect? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like they're finally getting the reality check, and the check has come, and they realize they can't afford it. You know, and it's like, well, I know you went to school, and somebody taught you how to count, and I know, especially some of these ones, they like to know how to gamble. So I really know they know how to count. So y'all can explain yourselves on that. Apparently I'm the amateur when it comes to that, because otherwise, No comprende, like what then what sense is it making? Right? Especially the ones that want to walk around and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm so big and bad. I'm the mastermind of this, and It's like, no, It's two different subjects. You don't get to take credit for nothing. Sorry. Move along. Yeah, moon card. Illusions being shattered. Pisces energy again. We got, Aquarius right now, kind of the ultimate of I don't give a F, type of thing where it's like, thanks for shop, you know what I mean? Thanks for shopping. Please exit. Okay, next customer. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Where you're just kind of telling them, like, we're out of the item. Like, what else do you want? We'll put you on a wait list. We'll call you when it's ready. You know, what I mean, what else can you, maybe try around the corner at the next store. You know, it's that kind of reality check where it's like, what special treatment did you think everyone else was getting around here? What fantasy were y'all living in? Because I sure don't. Again, this is where that communication, that Eight of Wands coming at you, especially when somebody comes at you with that fast story, right? And there's just, oh my gosh, and if you don't act now, right? It's like that high pressure sales tactic. If you don't act now, oh my God, I'm just going to be in alert, right? But you can help me, right? Yeah, just let me. Oh man, I'll just, your basement, your garage. I mean, you won't even know I'm here. About yeah, okay. You know how that turns into, right? And then all of a sudden, the person that you thought or had the illusion of was given a AF about themselves and getting on their way, right? Becomes the happy hermit, and it's like, this is not the ocean where you just randomly found a shell. Okay, and that's kind of what some of these, what do they call them, dark triad personalities, right? Um, they want to turn you into a shell of a human being and be filled with only what they want to talk about, what they want to think about, blah blah blah. What they want to do, what they want you to look like, smell like, talk like, eat. I'm telling you. Anyway, I just saw some nice YouTube videos of Julia Child preparing chicken, like three different ways, and it was kind of nice because like the first way she said was like a quick way, and then the other ways were if you have more time, like if you were having friends over or something of that nature. And I really liked the one dish, the chicken Kiev she made, because she said then you can keep it in the oven for like almost up to 30 minutes on a low 250. But she said not too much longer. She said, or the according to the recipe how she did it, it could melt um, some of the filling. Anyway, but yeah, that was pleasant to watch. Anyway, yeah, like Julia Child, like she was somebody that was in control, or at least tried to take control and did, famously through television, take control of her career. And if you watch that movie, you saw how hard it was for her making that cookbook and all of those things. But when she kind of took it to the masses, beyond the book, it was like she found that people related to her, and that's kind of this Empress energy here. And that's why this person just thought, oh, well, what's one more, right? But you're like, no, it's not about that. It's that we already tried this and you didn't want to play by any of the rules. So that means you get to go find your own kingdom because this kingdom that this Empress is in doesn't, their homie don't play that. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's what they call a boundary, right? Everybody has their own limits, their own values, their own moral judgments, their own, what they'll tolerate, what they'll put up with. The old, we treat others, or we teach others how to treat us, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, you know, but I understand, sometimes we're in situations where it's like, well, this is my job, this is my livelihood. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. And it sucks when somebody's trying to mess with your contracts. They're trying to put you in circles, have you running in circles, all for a, a little taste of something that they don't even know what it is. You know what I mean? It's like they become the ultimate salesman, and then you kind of realize it's like, oh, salesman of what? Snake oil? I mean, because, I thought this was supposed to be happy ending, not, oh, you just got to do this for me, right? And then that'll show that you love me and blah, blah, all this stuff. You're like, I went and loved myself, and now I got this Empress energy, and working on my abundance with my Ace of Pentacles that's here, and this Ace of Wands, that passion, that flow, where you're like, yeah, I know not everything works. Sometimes you got to throw it on the burn pile and start over, but do y'all ever see that, Married with Children? When Al gets mad because they throw his old ashes out of his charcoal grill, and he is like ticked because they've been there so long. And he's like, didn't want to change the flavor. I'm pretty sure that was Married with Children. Anyway, yeah, it's just something like that. Okay. So, you know, Al, the football hero, right? Oh my gosh. That show was so huge. When it was out, it was like one of the hits, and I think it was on Fox, which made it even more kind of like, because that was like the channel that had the Simpsons, you know what I mean? And that's the channel where you could tune in and you could see somebody saying that sucks, like to their parent, like, which other, the other channels, it's like, no, they were not showing children speaking that way to their parents or around their parents. That's like, you can talk around like that around your little friends, but you wouldn't be talking like that. Right? You wouldn't be talking like that around your grandma and your auntie and whoever else that came over that day, right? You know what I mean? Back in the old days when people used to visit and stuff and sit and visit like that, because we didn't have these, online waiting rooms. It's very Beetlejuice-esque to me, I feel like. This whole internet participation rally, but who's complaining really? I'm trying to be more entertained by it than not. You know what I mean? Because the fact remains, all those people that were like frantically studying the Roman Empire are like now connecting the dots of how people have been entertained by gore for years in various forms, including, on the nightly news. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's been a criticism of, um, different types of media over the years, right? There's the hard news, then there's the soft news, right? Um, you know, anyway, which, part of the reason why I believe we had more, newspapers, that was more the hard news, right? Because you get a little bit more in depth, although, depending on where you were at, you of course have your lifestyle sections and things of that nature. Okay, you guys, I think I finally have this deck all in the upright, so maybe the next reading using this one will oh my gosh, yeah. It's like the Capricorn's mad, like their season is over, and like, Sorry. Sorry, the sun's coming out. Nobody can we celebrate your birthday another time? Because, oh my God, I was listening to the radio and the guys on the radio were complaining because one of them had a girlfriend once or something that it was like if they didn't do it celebrate on the day of, it was like not good enough or something. And they were trying to explain to them that like wherever is only open like certain, you know um how some people are like, oh, we're going here, that's awesome, blah blah, let me know the details, right? Versus you know I guess somebody who doesn't want to be flexible, right? Anyway. And some people be like, oh, well, I gotta pick up my kids. Okay. Okay, you know what? How many times do your kids have to be picked up from wherever? Okay, this is like, one day out of the. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, for some folks, it's like, do you really think we're gonna. Okay. Um, yeah, I mean, and understand what's frequent and then what is sparse, right? But also like what can sustain, right? That's what I mean. That's why you're focusing on this abundance and your creativity and like what you can do with it. Okay. So this Empress is just like topping the cake, basically. All right. And whoever this other person is that's in the Five of Cups is just going to have to be butthurt about it. You know, I don't know. I don't necessarily think you're going to like see it, like, but it's kind of that type of thing. I'll probably complain on our family member. I can't believe they did this to me. And it's like, did what? You know what I mean? Some of these people act like all of a sudden they're freaking illiterate when they had every advantage in the world. Oh, I didn't know. Really? Really? You didn't know, or you didn't think you'd get caught, and you're entitled enough and privileged enough to know that some things can be bought, but some things also catch up, don't they? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's why some of us are on the other side to let you know. Right? Sometimes it don't matter how good you are. You're still going to go through that spiritual, you know, that spiritual session. Okay? And you're going to have your wake up call and realize, like, I can live my life worried about all this other stuff, or I can tap into what I need to be doing, right? Not what, my ex spouse thinks, or, what I mean? Oh my gosh, some of the conversations I'd have with people, and they're like, "Oh, well, I gotta talk to my ex because of this, so I can do this," and it's just like, well, I'm glad I don't have to worry about that. you know. Anyway, freedom is real, and also kind of a state of mind, right? When you start freeing yourself from saying, "Oh, well, I gotta check with so and so," it's like, yeah, I don't think you do, but if that makes you feel better about it, you can do that, right? But it's like, what rules are you? What rules do you think you're breaking by not? You know, it's like some folks actually grew up. You know what I mean, and went out there and tried some things. And you're not gonna do that cower in the corner and you know anyway. I think that's kind of the message of some of this, is just because I feel like this person just became very indulgent in things and thought they were going to be able to fake some love for you, basically. Whereas you're kind of like, well, why do I need fake love when I know I'm an empress? Or, I mean, or if you're more that masculine energy, or, where you're like, hey, I know I deserve an empress. Like, why, like, why would I settle for, you know, the one that, doesn't even barely ask their name before they enter the barn door? Like, you're like, yeah, I'm good on that. Some people just think you're going to accept anything because you're in some kind of circumstance or something or situation, and it's like, well, that's an interesting theory, but apparently I'm here to prove you wrong. You know what I mean? And then they'll be like, oh, well, aren't you? Yeah. Oh, well, what are you scared? What you think? Well, what's the matter? You know what I mean? And there'll be all that kind of stuff. And it's like, no, it's just I don't have to jump through any hoops. I already know who I am. You know, there's always somebody who's going to want you to jump through another little hoop. And then, when you do that, what that makes you a dog in their circus. Okay? So, and for some of y'all, you'll be like, oh, no shit. Well, that hoop must have been on fire. No wonder my ass got burnt. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't give a shit about you. They're like, yeah, let's light up that hoop. Now make them jump through it. Fuck it. Make it more interesting for the audience, huh? I'm just saying. Anyway, you know, that whole Roman Empire thing, right? I mean, you watch them biblical movies, you pretty gnarly scenes. It's like gives you a good imagination as to what it might have felt like if you got caught up in that. Anyway, it's kind of getting that season. Maybe that's what I'll do during Lent is watch that genre of movies, which I really do enjoy quite a lot, actually. So kind of get that Ben Hur type thing going on. Barabbas I watched not too long ago as well. Anyway, all right, that's all I have for you guys. So remember, you do not have to be a subscriber in order to like the video, but your likes are appreciated. Okay, helps pass around some happy juju. Lord knows we could use some, right? And if you're celebrating the Mardi Gras out there, please do have fun and be safe and check on your buddies as you go through your evening and then back safely to your spot where you're staying, right? So, anywho, we'll talk to you soon. Until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.